Crypto's pumping, Bitcoin's pumping back above $85,000. Is this pump a trap before a major dump tomorrow? Altcoins are starting to rally as well. Everybody get this retweeted, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, HBAR. We got a lot of other coins as well. TON. We're going to be getting into it. Everybody hit that retweet. Let's get this going live. I am just doing the retweet myself right now, and it is time to talk about the crypto market. Is this crypto pump a go? Signs of life in the charts. We're seeing Bitcoin pushing to the upside on April Fool's Day, and it is a day where I wanted to really focus on charts because who the hell knows what is going on with all these different news things that are coming out. I mean, it's so hard to even parse what is going on, but when we're looking at the charts are not a fool's errand. They're giving you the data that we can tune into, and we see Bitcoin is pumping above, look at this, above $85,000, but still within this falling wedge. I'm going to make this just a little bit brighter, just so we can see it. We're going to make it just like this. So you can see this falling wedge that this is still sitting therein. Let's go make that a bit brighter. Look at this, just boom, boom, back down, boom with the deviation, back up, big deviation down, but back up, finding support in here, finding support right here as well. And we're seeing this is coming right into that date that I talked to you about last week, and I believe the week before, which is essentially tomorrow. It's right here, option V. And what is that? It's also the price action coming into this apex of this falling wedge. We talked about this also potentially faking us out. And what do we see? Fake out to the downside. No, back inside. Okay, it's going to be in here. No, another fake out to the downside, back inside. Will we get one more? And if so, will that price action result in this dropping below this green box right in here? We can actually move this down just a touch, just to encompass this wick down in here. Or will this ultimately hold as a higher low? And if not, if this does lose, will it still maintain a higher low? Everything is so frustratingly in the charts right now because there's contention with super bullish setups that we're all looking at the same time with near-term indications that we could be having a pretty wild ride based on everything going on. So we are going to be looking at charts today. I got a list of things you can see over here on the side. I'm going to try and get through as many as possible. Throw a chat in there, what coins you want to look at. If there are any super chats for coins, I will make every attempt to make sure that we can hit any super chat that does have coins that you guys want to look at. That goes, if you're on X, you can comment. I'll see it. You can't super chat unless you're over here on YouTube. But we got Falco says, smashing it as usual, brother. Everybody hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and dinging the bell. Now let's look at what's going on, because we do have, it's looking green here on the daily. What's it looking like on the hourly? Everything is green. Wow. Except for Dexy and Zao right here. Zao Tether, it looks like. But what are we seeing here? It's all green across the board. 5 gifted BitLab memberships from Green Day Profits. Big love to you. I appreciate you. We got several hundred people in the room right now between the different platforms. I know there's going to be a lot more people dumping in here in just a moment. Let me go ahead and type out a message really quick. Can you make sure? Sorry, I just had to get that out. Now diving in and beyond all of this, we are still seeing the price action kind of in this ultimate fake out zone, which is the price action losing the 200-day moving average, the 21-week moving average, and the short-term holder cost basis, just holding on for dear life right here. It happened here before. Previously, this is that 7-month correction where it kind of came up and gave the indication that it was going to continue to the downside. And I don't mean like this. I mean like actually break down. Similarly, we saw this right here where we had this time period with price action under these bands. So it's been ultimate fake out zone this cycle where it's all, it has been up, but it's having these very similar structures that we saw in 2017, where you get these big pumps and a 20 to 30% drop, big pump, another big drop, big pump, another 20+% drop. big pump, and I think there was 7 large moves of between 17 to 21% throughout this range, and then massive pump. And then this effectively gave us that 30%, a little over 29%, right at 30% drop. Will this ultimately be it? Are we going to get that pump? Because it is a big week for markets, and not just Bitcoin. If you're wondering why has Bitcoin been pulling back, you can also look to other data out there, which we have been covering, but we got to just hammer it home. And that is looking here at, let me click 14 times for the button to work. There we go. We see the S&P 500, which is the blue line, having that large sell-off, coming back, testing within the range of these previous range tops, range top, range top, range bottom. And look at where the price action is right now. It's literally feeling like markets as a whole are sitting on the edge. They're sitting on the edge of a massive V-shaped recovery to the upside, much like we saw right here, this bleed down launch. Or is this going to be something more like this, where we kind of get a little relief rally and a continuation to the downside? We have the Liberation Day that everybody's paying attention to tomorrow. So let's just be aware of that. Now, I got a couple things we're going to go through, and we're going to be doing basically all TA this cycle. But this is what we're looking at right now. If this can play out similar to what we saw in 2017, roughly 852 days. This is going to be a bit subjective, but roughly this amount of time until ultimately we break out of this channel and get that parabolic uptrend. Okay, we've had a similar structure. When you start looking at these things zoomed out, you see correlations that are like, is this in the cards? Now, this is not in the cards, where, I mean, I do not believe so. This would be overwhelmingly hyperbolic. Seeing price action go above 200, 300, 400, 500, 700, a million, 1.5 million. Do you think that's happening this cycle? I don't, unless we don't get something like this. And basically this cycle just continues with this sort of structure for the next several years. Yeah, we could do it in that regard. And the question is that everybody's wondering about right now is, are we going to continue to have these 70 to 80% pullbacks that we've had in all previous macro bear markets here in Bitcoin? Or is this time different in that we have all these massive stacking channels and corporations and countries and so on and so forth that basically prevent these massive 80% bear market sell-offs? Now, we did see last year, turn Bitcoin back on here, this was frustrating as a mother. You know what I'm thinking in my head. This market remaining irrational longer than most people can stay solvent. This is what we need to pay attention to. And I actually think there is a strong case that maybe we don't have this 80% pullback. I think it's actually unlikely that we do. However, if we have these persistent large pushes and 20 to 30% sell-offs, that's larger than traditional markets, one. And then in addition to that, having these 7-month sideways when everybody in crypto is all here to buy today and be rich tomorrow. That narrative is going to change rather quickly over the next few years, I do believe. But we got to look at a couple more of these things, and we're going to be diving in, looking at the TA on some of these altcoins as well. So are we coming into that time period where we're about to ultimately get this massive push up? And I'm not saying it's relevant to these numbers on the side, but having that push up to 120, to 150, are we going to hit 200,000? Are we going to get up to 250? Some people, and I mean respectable, not just YouTube influencer. I'm talking like hedge fund manager type folk that are looking at in more realistic terms. There's some people that are calling for somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000. The question is, what does the next 6 weeks to 6 months look like? And that'll give us a really good indication of what's happening in this cycle. I think this week is going to be a bit choppy. And we can sort of reassess from there as we go into the middle of April. Now, continuing on, we did see job opening numbers came in lower than expected. Now, this is actually good. Why is it good? Because we still have the Fed on the ropes about whether or not they're going to cut interest rates or not, what that plan is going to be. Is it going to be May? Is it going to be June? This is continuing to soften that sort of economic data that makes it easier for them to make those calls. So this is actually in the midterm to long term, actually a bullish fact that the numbers came in lower than expected. When you understand the context of the data you're looking at, you can get a clear indication of what the path forward is that you can anticipate other market participants are going to be trading in the bullish or bearish pressures that are going to come into the market. That's what this is all about. But then we also see, I don't know what this is. I guess I didn't, change that. We do have the BitBonds that we talked briefly about yesterday. Is the Bitcoin Policy Institute, this framework that they left, that they put forward for the U.S. to buy $200 billion worth of Bitcoin by issuing $2 trillion worth of bonds. So if they start providing bonds that have some form of Bitcoin exposure, it's not, I don't expect that it'll be 100% Bitcoin, right? The bonds have Bitcoin tied into the basically the packaged offering, debt offering that those bonds would be. This would be an incredible way to sort of, I don't want to say Trojan horse, but to sneak Bitcoin exposure in a real way that makes it mutually beneficial for the bondholder as well as the U.S. government. So this will be an exciting thing to track moving forward, and I couldn't be more excited about it. We got a couple more things here that we're going to get into the charts. This is what's exciting me right here. RRP. What is this? This is reverse repo. U.S. Reserve repo. Sorry, U.S. reverse repo facilitates faculty. They inject $400 billion into their reverse repo. So while we may not be having the same exact money printing like we are focused on for exactly what quantitative easing is, there are a number of other financial mechanisms and tools that they have been able, that they've deployed that are available that can have very similar impacts on the market, or at least tangentially similar impact on the markets. And that's things like the RRP, reverse repo, or basically having all this extra liquidity, which essentially alleviates that selling pressure on the market from the quantitative tightening, the reduction of the books of the assets that they're holding. This is actually a good thing. Now, I mean, look at this. You guys remember in 2021 when we had that massive run up? Look at also the reverse repo. Look at this. Is this likely bottoming? Are we starting to get that next? Are we going to start to get a large injection here? But 400 billions is nothing to sneeze at. So the setup is here. And then we got right here, Tether buys 8,888 Bitcoin, $735 million worth of Bitcoin. Then now have over 100,000 Bitcoin, in addition to them being the 7th largest buyer of U.S. treasuries. Larger than most nations out there. I think they're on par with something, the multi-$100 billion worth of treasuries. And this makes them an economic powerhouse, especially when you consider legislative decisions on how they're going to incorporate, regulate, or empower stablecoins, especially something like Tether, which already is underpinning a major portion of U.S. Treasury buying pressure. Seems like you would want to support them, similar to you would support a nation when you're trying to consider what's going on with the political ideals around everything. So continuing on, we're going to get into some charts. We're looking at Bitcoin. We're looking at a bunch of altcoins. I see a lot of people just rolled in here. We got about 700, 800 people between YouTube and X. Everybody throw in the live chat right now. I want to see you get active. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join us here. But throw in the live chat 2 coins that you want to see some TA on. I'm going to be doing a lot of TA today, where we might run a little long as well. But let's look at Bitcoin real quick, just outline before we dive in to the technical analysis. Now, Big Hands Dan says it best. He says, hit the likes, people, show some love. We're up here doing, I turn off monetization on these channels. While we're live, there's no ads that run. Give me some love, hit the like button, engage with this, subscribe to us, turn on notifications, show some love, man. The crypto ecosystem in terms of the content is a ghost town right now for people getting engaged. But those of you that are here, you're the real ones. So big love to all of you. I see you, Seth Shepard, and 88 mile per hour trading. We got Michael Gaidano, objectively, real reality, objectively. Could you look at Well and Core Chain? We'll try to get to Well and Core Chain. I'll bookmark that on my thing. Moo Well says Mike. I don't know what Moo Well is. That like cows mooing well? I'm not sure. See what I mean? But I know you mean Moon Well. We got ONDO and HBAR, of course, AERO. We got what else we got? We got the fam jam here today. Now let's continue on because this is what we're looking at. This was the ETF run up. And look at this ETF run up. What we get? One of the biggest news stories in crypto had a sell off. Okay, what we get? The speculation about the Trump presidency right here. This is that massive, what it's going to mean for crypto. And then what we do? We peaked right here. What was right there? January 20th, the inauguration day. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Does this mean it's over? No, it doesn't mean it's over. It means this is setting up one of the last opportunities we may ever get below $100,000. Now, does that mean this is mooning directly from here? No, we've got to take this one day at a time. Even if this does roll over and come back down and test, back down in that's basically this, look at this 72 to $75,000 range, that would only essentially set up the same thing that we saw right here with the price action. Look at this mass sell-off. It's over. What do you see right here when it's over? Tested previous range high. So if this were to do that, that would just be testing previous range high. So let's not get ahead of ourselves with being crybaby little bitches in this market, because the market is doing what markets do, which is building price structures in areas of interest of previous range highs, previous range lows, that gives us the roadmap of where the most likely areas of interest are going to be when the price action starts moving that direction. As it stands right now, we just came into the date tomorrow, and then the next few days after this. It's not just going to be all resolved tomorrow, but the date tomorrow is the culmination of all this pressure the Trump administration has been putting on the market, which has been leading to the bullish possibility of the Fed actually reducing their quantitative tightening and starting to get down that path of what they're going to do about quantitative easing, lowering Fed interest rates, all these things. It's one brick at a time, and everything that's happened with the tariffs has put the market in the place that the Fed can have this conversation. So let's take advantage of the opportunities the market is presenting us right now. So look, post-inauguration day and tariff, 50 days so far. 50 days so far, post-inauguration, that we've been consolidating to the downside. Well, what does it look like moving forward? Well, first off, what does it look like in the last Trump presidency? Look at where the price is. Doesn't seem like much has changed, has it? The overlay of the orange line right here, where we're at since election, we're pretty much on par. We have a little deviation below, sure, but we're coming right back to that mean. Is this in store? Well, let's look to the price action, because we also have other bullish news. MasterCard developing blockchain-powered payment network to enable seamless fiat to crypto transactions for banks and consumers. The rails are just getting built in. There's no reason to be bearish. There's only reason to be looking for smart, diligent, fact, data-based, long-term, or at least good position term setups for entries. And that's what we're doing here, baby. Now, what we got? We also have to pay attention to the end of the week, April 5th. April 5th. It's the deadline for the U.S. federal agencies to submit reports on their crypto holdings per the executive order. So we've got a lot of things going on this week, in addition to Jerome Powell speaking on Friday. This week's price action. Here's your TA for this week's price action. Oh my God, we're so back. It's over. Oh, trap, it's definitely over. Come back in. Oh no, we're so back. Oh no, we're definitely dead. I told you. This is the direction that it's going to end eventually, which is up and to the right. The question is it going to be sometime between now and June, especially prior to the potential rate cuts, or is it going to be all the way into somewhere in the end of August into September, October? I am of the opinion that we are going to see it soon. And when we look at the price action, let's get into the TA section. Soon, very soon, says Daniel. How many of you guys, let's see, I want to see your all comment in the live chat. If you're on X, you can comment as well. I can see your comments. If you Post it in the live chat on X. And by the way, if we want to do a giveaway, let's do a giveaway today. We got to get 30 retweets on this post right here. We got 12 already. So let's get a giveaway today, guys. All you have to do if you're watching on YouTube or X, but here's the link for you if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on it, hit that retweet button right there. Hit this like button. You got to do both. And we will, if we get over 30, we will do a giveaway in today's show. $100 value. Let's get active. Let's get engaged. Let's show some love and make sure you're following the correct Kelly Kellum. I changed my banner up here as well, but make sure it's got the check mark and the Mario Nafal, the IBC signal that you see right there. There's about 150 fake profiles of me out there, but looking at Bitcoin, what are we seeing? We see the price action basically in this falling wedge coming into the zone that we talked about right here. At the same time, what do we see on the 4 hour? We see the VWAP angled up. The momentum wave has flipped back up, and not only flipped back up, look at this green bar right here, meaning a lot of buy pressure came in. In addition to that, we see the RSI angled up. We do see the stochastics looking like they're starting to cool, meaning starting to bend over, which is okay because the price action is coming up into a known level of resistance. In fact, I hope and expect that the price action will have some rejection here. Okay, let me click 14 times. There we go. Have some rejection here. The question is going to be, are we going to come back and test about this level? This would be a great level to test if we do that, which is about 83.5, 83.6. Previous range, look at this. Basically this, it's not really a W. It's a very ugly formation, but it's almost an inverted head and shoulders. If we go down to the 1 hour, we'll see that? Shoulder, head, shoulder. This is a neckline. This is also where this bounced. This is where rejected, bounced. If this does come down, this would be the first area I'd be looking at, 84.5. And if we lose that, this is really where we want to watch. If it loses that, then it's likely coming back down here and taking one more spill to the downside to test that range below us. TA is going to be very difficult between now and Sunday because we have so many hype, sentiment, hope, fear-based stimuli that's causing people to buy an overwhelming hope and sell an overwhelming fear. We are, I feel like, on the precipice of that next major move. We just need to be patient and let some of the sentiment shakeout really get underway. Because look at this, on the 1 hour, yeah, I mean, this is flip back to positive money flow. The VWAP came up, this yellow line down here, came down, tested zero, meaning now, see this push up on the, just on the yellow line, not even price action, this push up right here, and it comes back down right here, and it comes back. The fact that this pushed above this zero line and found support here and then pushed up again gives me indication that the market as a whole is looking more to play a positive spread in the market, meaning pushing up and then having it sell off, but then having a higher low, and then pushing up and then have it sell off and have a higher low. That's what I mean by positive spread. And when we look at the moving averages here, we can see here on the BitLab intelligence, and what do we see? At the same time, look, see all these moving averages, the trade signal line right here, which is basically a 50 moving average. You have the VWAP right here, this yellow line. But what do we see? We see the price action push above the VWAP, comes back down right here, right where this also comes back down, finds some support right about it, pushes up, comes back down, finds support, only a wick through, but you see, and this is also has a spread here. So you're getting it pointed out in a couple of different ways. And then a lot of buying pressure coming in here, which I can see because the candle is teal. So, and look at this. Now it's, rather than finding support down here, it's finding support on the 20 moving average band right here. Boom, starting to look pretty good. But we have a resistance directly overhead. Do not lose your mind if this gets rejected and comes down. The question is going to be, how far does it come down? And is it losing this sort of key level on the near term, which is this level right here? Yeah, kind of like that, basically, which is this zone, 84 down to 83, 83.5 sort of zone. This would be the bullish pullback, bounce, chop in here, and then launch out. If this does break out, similarly that we saw, look right here, price action lost this level, lost it. So there's been a lot of fake outs to the downside. Similarly, if Bitcoin does get a nice pop outside of this, don't just ape in long here if you're going to sell if it does this. Because first off, this is expected. This is a break of resistance and a confirmation pullback. Basically, you know, you have a bullish breakout. You have a bearish sort of test. Where do the bulls come in? A confirmation. You want the confirmation of finding support on this previous resistance. Watch for a breakout and then a failure like that, or the bounce here, and then you look for your entry about right there if that were to happen. So there's a lot on the horizon in terms of chop this week. Now, when we go through some of these other coins and we look, I mean, let's first off look at the total three. This is minus stable coins. This basically the alts, Bitcoin minus the total minus Bitcoin minus Ethereum, and I also subtracted the stable coins. This has just been in a basically downward consolidation channel. Boom. But we're starting to see signs. It's not an inverted head and shoulders because there's a lot of weird chop, but very similar sort of structure. The bears tried more, but now the bears tried again, and we have a higher low. If this can maintain, then this may be signaling that we're getting the reversal for the crypto market. Now, also, we have the momentum waves with bullish divergence on these leading up to this and a flip of money flow, which is very choppy. You see this pink and gray, but then all this gray is now on top, but there's no blue. We really want it to look like this. We want this. This means not only positive money flow, but there's actually good liquidity being transferred around in there. But we see the VWAP, sharp V-shaped recovery, back above the zero line, stochastics angled up, RSI angled up, mostly green with two neutral. But again, just like we saw in Bitcoin, we got to pay attention to, a potential bit of resistance. And it looks like there's another sort of resistance line kind of right in here. Oops, sorry. Kind of right in here. And this is from, all of this rejection. It's very ugly, but it's starting to feel like we're trying to get the swing, but let's make sure the swing is not the trap, because we're seeing some things like Render made a nice little pop. Look at that. We have the move up. This is that confirmation pull back down. We still have a higher low in all this. Tested where? Previous range high. Found a bounce. We got the VWAP circling back around. The VWAP, the stochastics angled up. RSI angled up. Mostly green on this signal. This is looking like an inverted head and shoulder. If that's the case, what's the target on the Render trade? We measure that out, measure from the deepest portion up into about where the neckline is. I can just do this with my eyes, but you can see that. The measurement out of that would be basically target up here, right? Look at this, right? Kind of where this zone is, basically the 685 sort of region. That is a near doubling in price action. Almost 90%. Now, is that in the cards? It's looking like it wants to happen. We also have, it looks like a bit of a broadening wedge, which is, we got that. And then you got this right here. You see that? So descending broadening wedge, also a bullish formation, much like you see this inverted head and shoulders. If this were to break out, what I'd immediately be watching is boom, something like this, and then that continuation up. The question is going to be, is there going to be a massive concession tomorrow from Trump where there's an announcement, because Trump is speaking tomorrow at 4 p.m. So is there going to be an announcement? Okay, well, some of these people came back in line. We kind of adjusted. We have no idea. If a lot of the tariffs get dismissed, or they're way more in line than we were expecting, or trade agreements start coming in on some of the reciprocal tariff stuff, we may see the markets just absolutely moonshot from here. But I'm just saying, pay attention. There's no harm in allowing the market to play out in that, say this does boom. Oh my God. You don't jump in there. Wait for wherever the pullback is. Look for the sign of the reversal, basically bull flag, a pullback here where you get it on the smaller time frame. You're seeing the candle structures and the money flow flip on the smaller. So we're on 8 hour. So if you're seeing this, you go down to the 1 hour and then the 24 minute, and you can see when that momentum is shifting as this is pulling back, so you can capture this on the way up. Then you're not getting caught in a trap for this only to break further to the downside. But we're starting to see some signs of life. And Render's looking pretty good. If this comes down and loses 335, I'd be expecting this to drop, down below 3 and potentially even back down here into the 260s. We also saw Avalanche had some news with Grayscale. This looks just like we saw. Look at this. Look at these. I mean, it's almost the same formation. So very similar here, but except this looks like it's more of a, we can do an option T. We got a bit of a trend line right here. This is going to get a little ugly. This looks a little different here because if this kind of goes like this, then this is a bit of a head and shoulders. That could spell a move like this where Avalanche comes down here to 14 bucks. So that is in the cards. However, what does the data say on the signals? The momentum is starting to roll back over, back to bullishness. It's a much higher low. You see how low, how deep this is, and this is much more shallow. This is minus 100%. This is minus 38%. So much smaller. So as on Market Cipher, as CryptoFace calls it, large anchor wave and a trigger wave. But we're also seeing the VWAP angle back above zero. We have the stochastics angled up, RSI angled up. We are starting to see those signs of life that are suggesting that this may more likely than doing this. Remember, we're always risk adjusted. So we're looking at what the bearish possibility could be, but then what the data is suggesting is that this more likely will take the move up into this region, this overhead resistance, which is up here. I cut my finger yesterday. I don't know if you can see it. And it keeps healing, but your thumb is used on everything. I keep ripping it open and I can tell because I can feel my blood dripping out and it sticks to my mouse. So sorry, it was just, I just felt my thumb sticking to my mouse. If this is able to take this area out, really what we want to watch is this zone right in here. Because you have this rejection, this rejections, support, it kind of comes back all the way back over into here. This is a 21 to 22, the $22 region. Because once the price action does break out of this, you immediately have all of this area of chop, of rejection, bounce, support. This is an interest zone right above us. If this is able to take this out, watch for a little bit of trouble here, retest here, and a continuation. Again, if this is lost, then I don't necessarily think we're going to go all the way down here to 14. If I had to guess that it would be a smaller move, something like this, down to about 1680, 1650. But then we also saw HBAR. HBAR, look at this strong bounce. I did not add this. This was already on the chart from when we've been doing the TA for the last many months into the years on this channel. This goes all the way back to, this goes back to November. And we were talking about if this were to break down, that the price actually could come back down and test this. Now look at this, came back down and tested it. What is it doing right now? It is bouncing on that test. Bouncing on that test. Let's see where we're at on the giveaway. Are we there yet? I want to see, God, we only need a couple more. Everybody go and get that, hit that retweet. We might be able to do a giveaway today. We got a bunch of members today too. By the way, if you do want to become a member, it's a great way to help participate in this channel and also get some of the members TA that we do in the mornings and the evenings and other members only streams. All you got to do is make sure you are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. Even if you're not going to become a member, the paying member, which is only $1.25 a week, mind you. If you turn on your notifications, sometimes the private member streams, I post to the public for the first 5 or 8 minutes. And if you get in while it's still on a public deal, you get notified because the notifications are on. And then when I put it back to private, if you're already in there, you get to stay in there. So just a little helpful tip for you. And then once you're subscribed, you'll see a button right there that says join us here in the family, baby. I love you. I appreciate you. I just wanted to call that out. Now, everybody come over here, hit that retweet, show some love. I'll share that link in there again. If you're watching on Twitter, you should all be doing it because you're watching it on Twitter. Retweet that damn link. We've got, let's see. Got 460 over there on Twitter. So shout out. Big love. I think we might be able to get to it if you guys go and do that. Now let's look at some more TA. Where are we at? HBAR. Nice, beautiful bounce. So beautiful bounce, but we're not out of the woods yet because look at where the price action came into. Can you guys tell me? Well, when you look at the price sort of zone, the price zone is kind of trending like this, right? Trending slightly to the downside. So effectively, the price action is coming right up into a projected level of sort of price frustration. We do have on the 4-hour bullish divergence here on the momentum waves, right? And we also have meaning a slowing down. There's a movement to the downside on price action while the strength indicators and the momentum indicators are getting weaker, aka the bulls are getting stronger. So we see the green bars here showing a lot of buying pressure also came in. If we turn on the BitLab intelligence, I bet we'll see teal. Oh, no teal candles, so not quite super bullish, but still of that parameter. But look at that. Price action is coming right into this sort of projected level of resistance. And we got some bullish divergences right here. Yeah, I mean, this called this perfectly right into the resistance. Boom, down. Now we're sitting right here. What we really want to see is a price action for HBAR to get above this 18-cent mark. And then most importantly, to get above this 20-cent mark, because then you're essentially breaking free of all of this price memory chop zone right in here, where a lot of liquidity interest was. In fact, if we zoom out on this, let's go like this. Look at this larger. See that? See this large node right here? This 19 to 20 cents. Large node means a lot of volume is traded here, and then smaller amount of volume, and then a lot of volume right in through here, this 23, 24 cent sort of zone. But we've just been seeing bullish divergences in the momentum, kind of setting up this rounding bottom that we're starting to make here. So we're starting to get those signals. We're starting to get them. We're not out of the woods yet. In fact, I wouldn't trust anything with a big pump up or a breakdown this week, probably through till Sunday. You could take advantage of the swings on those trades for sure, but this is looking like it wants to start to make that move. If this gets rejected here, what I'd really like to see on HBAR, if this gets rejected, is a rejection like this and basically form basically an inverted head and shoulders right here, that then the target would be somewhere up here in the zone anyway. I can just tell by the measurements here. You see this? Look at that. It's right there up in that zone. So let's be a little cautious. Be a little bit cautious here. Got Link. Also, look at that. Look at that. Breaking right through that sort of descending channel that we have. But this is the zone. This is the zone for Link. Basically the 1480 up to about $16. Yes, it's a pretty wide zone, but the wide zone that we're looking at is all of this chop. I mean, look at this. This goes all the way back, that we're looking all the way back to August 2020. Rejection, bounce, 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 kind of chop rejection, chop right through it, a bounce on it, rejection from it, a bounce on it. And this is there's a lot of price memory in through here. So what we want to watch with this is if Link breaks down, I'm watching this zone right here, basically the 1294 to 1250 zone. If this is lost, I think this is coming back a bit lower down here into the low 11s. But I'm just feeling like I feel like Trump is playing chess, and there's going to be a move that comes out through this week. The question is going to be, though, how does the market react if they do all the audit of the U.S. agencies on the crypto that's due on Saturday, if the U.S. sold some of their crypto? And to me, that's actually bullish. Now, why would you say that? Because if they sold some of those crypto, it lights a fire under the Congress and legislative branch and the president as well, to figure out what they're going to do about that the Bitcoin Act, the one that has the 1 million Bitcoin purchases over the next 5 years. The plan was to start with that first 200,000. So if they had sold 100,000 already, which I don't think they have, that would mean that the buying pressure would likely come in earlier than we are expecting. That wouldn't be until either much later this year, probably still next year. But it would suck in terms of an accounting thing from them having sold. And the U.S. would look like freaking idiots for doing that. I hope our last administration did not sell. But there's going to be market volatility around that regardless. So we got a lot going on this week because of that. We also saw Sui making some moves. This is on the 3-day. Let's go down to the 4-hour. Look at Sui coming back up. But you see, this is shaking off all of this chop zone, this green line that's right through here. It's shaking it off, come back up. But where are we at on the Fibonacci on this zone? Look at this. We're just barely above the 382. We really want to pay attention to this 258, 260, golden pocket area that price very regularly visits. This would still be rejectable zone for it to come down. we want to get through the 259 to 260 zone and really start pushing up. But this, look, VWAP's angled up, stochastic's angled up, RSI's angled up, although they're softening right here. And where is this? It's right in, look at this, option H. Look, bounce, rejection, rejection, support. You see, once you do a horizontal line at a price level and you say, how is this, why is this interacting like this? And you zoom out on the chart, you realize there's been a lot of interactivity around this. So in this zone right here, if this were to reject, I'd really like this to find support on 243 because we are seeing a little bit of softening here. If not, then what we'd all like to see is a bit of a, you know, maybe a little bit of a bull flag and then the launch. Statement being, there's going to be setups that are going to fail this week. The overarching underlying sort of direction feels bullish with huge opportunity for markets to be taken advantage of because of the hype around everything going on and the sell-off in the market. There is fear because what we saw in the stock market also with Bitcoin. But look at this V-shaped recovery on TON. Golly, coming right back up. Where? Right into the 382. Look at this. Perfectly matched. And then look, all this chop zone right here, right where the golden pocket is. If you want to know how I drew that, you can see, measure from the top, go to the bottom. This is sitting right here at the 382. The next level up is going to be a little bit lower than that. It's going to be right here about 465. Why? Because this is where all these previous range lows were. Bounce, 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 bounce. So we're watching for a hiccup here at 462, and then the target out of this that I'd be really watching is up here, and it actually looks a little bit like the target out of that would be, yeah. So I'd be watching. This is the area of interest. If this gets rejected here, then I'd be then looking for a support here at the 382 for the, you know, okay, it's not over bounce. But if this is able to push out, chop through this, and then start working its way up, that'd be great. Because on the 12-hour, look, we flipped bullish in terms of the money flow. Money flow came in. The VWAP is now bouncing on the zero line rather than going below it. If we come down to the 4-hour, this is just, look, this is just chop zone right here. So there's some work to be done. There's some exciting things going on. Curve also had a pretty big move. I mean, we're seeing the line. We're seeing the start. I hope it's not just an appetizer before tomorrow and a major drop comes in, but we got to see how these things play out. We also saw BitTensor Tau right into this great buy zone that we outlined a week or two ago. Just bounce, 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 bounce. If we come back out on the 8-hour, you know, I mean, this, yeah, I mean, if this drops below this would be such a steal. But we got some bullish divergences coming in here. Money flow is starting to round back up towards zero. VWAP's angled up, stochastic's angled up. What's it look like on the 4-hour? Look, VWAP's above, look, broke through the zero line, came down, found support. This says, yes, we're going to play a positive spread. And then, very similar to what we're seeing on a lot of other altcoins, kind of like the start of a potential, not Adam and Eve, but inverted head and shoulders, if this were to have a bit of a sell-off. But as it stands right now, guys, man, AERO. I told you guys we're going to be going through a lot of different charts today. Could you look at the crypto.com lion token as it's pumping hard? I don't know what you're talking about. What is the lion token? You talking about Crow? I'm just reading some of y'all's comments. Yeah. By the way, great turnout today. We got about 1,000 people tuning in. Shout out to each and every one of you. The question I have for you is, have you dropped an elbow on, sumoplexed the like button? Show some love. I don't care about what the number of likes are. It does amazing things, needed things for our business, for the algorithm, for YouTube, for them to show this to other people based on how engaged you guys are. And if you're typing in the live chat and if you're subscribing or you know, super chats, all those things tell YouTube that, yeah, we're going to push this out to folks. There's some new lion token. Well, get me the ticker and I'll look it up. Get it up there quick. Quarter Crawler says, Caspa, you're here all the time. I'll definitely do Taspa for you. But Aerodrome is just basically still in this falling channel, much like Dog on Bitcoin. Falling channel, just kind of set a floor, but then fell through. We're really wanting Aerodrome bullish divergence, VWAP angled up, stochastics angled up, RSI, but it's looking like it's getting a little weak in this zone. We're really watching to break through the 48 cent all the way up to 50 cent. This zone right here is critical for Aerodrome. If this wants to make its next leg up, this is going to be a little bit of a battle zone unless it just slices right through and comes back and finds that it's support. But we also got ONDO. Where's ONDO at? Did I move ONDO way the hell out of the way? Where is ONDO? I don't know. ONDO. Am I not seeing? There it is, right below it. I mean, this is looking like all the other tokens. You know, I just did a tweet on this today. Look at this previous range low coming up right into the zone. Everything's looking like it wants to do bullish things. I don't know if I have that tweet up still, but look at this. Where are we at? Right here. Taking a quintillion dollar markets, stock market, NASDAQ, S&P 500, tradable, basically tokenizing them, making a global marketplace, not just for the stock market in the US, but making a global stock market, global tokenized assets. I really think ONDO is going to be a clear winner of this. You know, ONDO Finance, rooted at the intersection of TradFi and DeFi, is building the infrastructure to enable stocks to come on chain and work seamlessly with crypto via ONDO Chain and ONDO Global Markets. And look at some of these partners: Wisdom Tree, Wellington Management, PayPal, Franklin Templeton, BlackRock, MasterCard, Ethereum, Solana, Sui, Layer Zero, Aptos, and all, you know, there's going to be RWAs and other chains. Yeah, sure. Tokenized asset. Yeah. But is it going to basically be this hub as well as being tokenized on ONDO? That's why when I see this and I see the price has been falling, similar with Aerodrome. Aerodrome is going to be potentially tokenizing the Forex markets on base, being the exchange place for those. Massive, massive news for these assets. And we're getting these opportunities at lower prices. ONDO, I can't, you guys, how excited you were up at 212. Now it's down here at 80. I mean, I wish I had contracts coming in that were getting paid today. I'd be dropping. Bullish divergence. I mean, there's some work to be done, but this is that zone we're watching here. Basically the dollar mark, 97 cents to $1. But yeah, guys, Cardano looks very similar to a lot of the other ones, except this is just sideways range bound. Heartbeat. Look, this is just a heartbeat. The question is going to be, what direction does it go? And there's some major things happening with Cardano. Major integrations and partnerships and integrations with Bitcoin DeFi. There's a lot coming to Cardano. So don't sleep on Cardano. I mean, this is looking Moonwell. I mean, this has just been falling to the downside. Now it's kind of sitting under this level of previous support at resistance. So we really want, this is a zone here. We really want to get above 24 cents to 26 cents because of all of this chop right here, option J, and this downtrend right here. This is the zone that we're really paying attention to. We want Moonwell to basically really break back through this all the way through 26 cents. But there's a lot of hurdles above though, right? Another one at 30 cents and the next one up here at 40 cents. But this currently is looking good in that we have a higher low. The momentum wave is kind of clipped over. VWAP's angled sharply up. RSI is angled sharply up. So, you know, Injective looks very similar that we just saw on what was that? Moonwell, but just kind of just bouncing down here. Bullish divergence, negative money flow. This one's looking a little less bullish just on a data basis, but you know, MORPHO, look at that. Came right up into the 382 and came all the way back down. Higher low though. VWAP angled up. Stochastics, RSI angled up, mostly bullish on the signal. We're kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern on this market going into tomorrow and then the rest of the week. Remember, we still have a lot of economic things coming out this week, but big love to all of you. Let's see if we get to do the giveaway today. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the join button once you do hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. And let's see where we're at. 28, 34. All right. We're getting we're getting a giveaway today. And then if you're in the US, you got something, it's going to be $100 value. If you're not in the US, you're getting something else that's $100 value based on it. But I will reach out to you directly right now. And so let's see. Let's pick somebody pick a number. Oops. AERO is my 8-second bull ride for the win. There you go. Let's get a number between 3 and 12. I'm writing down a number first. I want to see what number you guys use. And I'm going to multiply it by this number I already have written down. That's how we picked a random number. Let's see. Come on, baby. Let's see what you got. 6. Oh, 8. 34. All right. So let's see. I want to see the view engagement. So my number, just so you know, I haven't is 6. And somebody else said 6. So 6 6 divided by 6 is 1. So April Fool's Day, right? And so that means April 1st. So I'm still doing a giveaway. The first person that reposted is getting that deal. And that is brutal right here. I'm going to follow you back. And I'm going to send you a note right now. What is it? I don't want to post it there because then they will, let's see. This is the person that won. HK Raz 69. Big love. Will Wild Mofo, is that you? I don't know. But I got you. Big love to you. I appreciate you all. Hope you have a wonderful day. We're going to send you over to the blockchain basement now. Yeah, that's all we got today. I love you. Adios. Muchachos. Adios.